Hi, this is Lyndall with Watery Wishes, and today I'm trying out something I saw on Jennifer Maguire's channel where she makes a little pop-up inside of the card. Now, I didn't go and double check the measurements on her video, and if you're going to attempt this, I would suggest that you go and do that. I just sort of winged it, and my pop-up thing was a little bit too big, so see, it sort of sticks out the card there. So what I did is I just put in another score mark and trimmed off one more of the edges. Now the thing with this is the single scored side and the innermost of the double scored side need to be the same. They need to be the same in width. So I've done this at 1/2 inch, 3 3/4 of an inch, 4 1/4 inches, and 4 3/4 inches. So each of the scores is a 1/2 inch. Now, I would suggest if you're going to do this, I used 120-pound cardstock and it's a little bit thick. So I would suggest you probably use an 80-pound cardstock for the pop-up inside. Simply because I think it would have laid flatter if I'd have used the 80-pound inside instead of the 120. Now, I've lined up this flower stamp from the Mandy's flower set in the August 2018 card kit. I think the card kit sold out, but the stamp set is available for purchase separately. Now, the twist I'm doing on this card, when Jennifer Maguire did it on her channel, she had part of the image showing through the window in the card. And what I'm doing here is I'm hiding the image inside the card. And the pop-up image will pop up when you open the card, but you do not see it through the die cut window. Well, this one isn't die cut because it's fussy cut around the flowers, which was a lot of fiddling, but well worth the result. So I'm stamping in Memento Tuxedo Black because I'm going to Copic color. And I'm stamping the picket fence twice because I'm going to put them back to back. And they're not going to be perfect, but they're going to be good enough. You'll see when it's done. So I'm not going to show you the Copic colouring, I don't think, because it's just way too time consuming. And here you can see me roughly cutting this out. I sort of alternate between the box cutting knife and the Cutter-bee scissors depending on where I'm at. And it is fiddly. I'm not sure if Simon is bringing out some dies with this set, but they may well do, so keep an eye out just in case. And once I'd finished cutting this out, there is a couple of little edges, and I actually just took an emery board to the edge of the inner circle and just filed the little tiny bits down. I do the same when I cut cardstock and there's little rough bits left over, and it worked well enough on this as well. So as you can see, this is probably the most time consuming and fiddly bit of the card. Trying to get that circle almost perfect. And I'm not cutting right on the line, I'm cutting close to it. I'm leaving a little bit of white area like it's die cut. This is me just getting up close and personal with it to make sure it's done right. Now I'm just fussy cutting everything out. I did the picket fences with the E11s. I did the pink flowers with RV000, 52 and 55. I did the yellow ones with pretty sure that was Y17, Y15 and Y13. And when I say the E11s, I meant E11, E13 and I think a bit of E18. And here I'm just sticking those two pieces together, sort of trimming them up a little bit. And this will help me hide the plants inside the card. And as you can see, there's a little bit of Copic colouring from the image on the front, but I'm not too worried about that. It's a handmade card, it looks handmade. So once I've adhered that down, I'm going to trim this little pop-up panel down because I only need a tiny bit. And I'm going to get some watercolour wishes paper, and I'm going to use this, it's a little bit on the green side, but it's mostly blue, and some green. So one bit's going to be the sky, the other is going to be the grass or the ground. And I'm going to cut those so you can see the sky through the window. So basically I'm making a very simple scene inside the card that you can't really see much of through the window. So now we'll just adhere those to the inside of the card. I'm just making sure that the card can still close properly. And if there's a little bit overhanging outside of the card, I can always come back with a pair of scissors and trim that down. Better to be overhanging than not have enough. So Getting that last little corner down. Fussy cutting those flowers out. Here's that little bit of watercolour wishes paper to put on the pop-up element so that it's not white. It looks like part of the scene. Okay, and the blue, I actually use the cool greys for the blue on that container. And then I just put some BO4 over the top of it. So it's actually shaded with the greys. And that's something that I learnt off Kelly Latavola. You don't need every Copic. If you've got the greys and you've got some colours, you can shade with the greys and just put a colour over the top. So now I'm just making sure I know how to stick it down, because I didn't go and check Jennifer Maguire's video just to make sure. But there we go. We've got our little pop-up element. Now, when I cut these clouds, I used some generic dye. I can't remember where I got them from. I actually cut 2 of the little ones, and I was looking everywhere for the second one. And here I am lifting stuff up off the table, looking for it everywhere. And after I'd finished the card, I got up out of my seat and I was sitting on it. So it was just... But I did find it, just way after I'd finished the card. So I sort of decided not to worry about the cloud. And as you can see, you can't even see the clouds through the center of the card. Now, I should have stamped my sentiment before I'd done all the pop-up stuff and everything else, but I didn't. Hindsight's great, just not very useful. So I used my Misty and some VersaFine Onyx Black, and it stamped out fine first go. That's one of the other good things about a stamp positioning tool. It's not just that you can reposition it and stamp it twice. It enables you to put even pressure on things, so you're not either pressing too light or too hard. It gives that perfect stamp nearly every time, unless it's a huge background stamp. And there's the sentiment. And now I'll colour in the ring, which I forgot to do. Oh no, I put Nuvo drops on it first, that's right. And these are I think they're lilac. Can't remember what the actual name of them are. But they're a really light lilac-y lavender colour. And I'm tossing up whether to put more on, and I decide not to. And now I very carefully colour in the circle with my C markers. And you'll notice my C markers are chows and not the sketch. They were the very first Copic markers I got, were the cool greys and the warm greys. So there we go. There's the card. Little pretty pop-up inside. Here are some pictures, some close-ups. Hope you liked the card. If you did, hit that like button. Also, I'd be thankful if you subscribed. And don't forget, have fun crafting your imagination. Bye.